A 20-foot fall that shouldn't have never happened to a young man. But why did it happen? This could have been very fatal. It was that close to being really a terrible day for everybody. Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome back to another Note from the Safety Desk, where we talk about real safety, not just clipboard safety. This is a story about one decision, one shortcut, one assumption that sent a supervisor 20 feet down onto hard concrete. Let's get into it. It was late December 2019, about 30 degrees outside. It was cold. A sharp northeast wind was cutting through everything. The kind of cold that really settles into your bones. And it was at a wastewater treatment facility. A contractor crew, we'll call Walls Contracting, had been hired to repair some deteriorating walls inside an effluent basin. Years of hydrogen sulfide exposure had eaten away at the walls on the inside. The basin was roughly about 30 feet square and 20 feet deep, very thick walls, concrete. At the top of the basin was a walkable aluminum grate covering the entire opening. 3 laborers and a supervisor. First day, day 1, the crew arrived around about 8 o'clock a.m. They shut off the water to the basin, setting up their scaffolding, setting up their ladders, installing perimeter protection, and posting signage. By the end of the day, things looked very professional. But there was a problem. Epoxy resin doesn't cure well in freezing temperatures, so the crew improvised. They placed 1/4 inch foam insulation board across the entire aluminum grate to trap in heat. An industrial heater was positioned at ground level just outside the basin. A 1-foot diameter hose carrying warm air down into the space was also put into place. It seemed like a practical solution. Work smarter, stay warm, let's get it done. They left for the day. Day 2. It's cold, windy, probably a little colder than day 1. The supervisor plugged in the heater to start the warming of the basin. While the heater hummed outside, 2 laborers climbed on top of the basin. They removed one 4-foot by 8-foot section of the foam board. Underneath it, they removed a section of the aluminum grate for an entry point. They lowered the heater hose into the basin to start the warming process. Then they placed the foam back over the opening. But they did not replace the aluminum grate. The opening, a 20-foot drop to concrete, was now covered by nothing no more than that 1/4 inch foam board. No structural support. No guardrail adjustment, no barricade removed, just foam. The supervisor climbed on top for his morning inspection. The day before, he had built a guardrail system with top rail, mid rail, toe board, and even posted a sign. The sign said, "Do not enter without proper fall protection." He walked past his own sign without his fall protection. He stepped onto the foam board, and in a split of a second, it disappeared beneath him. 20 feet straight down, he hit the concrete floor. Silence fell across the entire worksite. The panic. He was alive, but badly injured, bloody and broken. Emergency services was called. The fire department arrived at the scene. They set up a tripod and a winch system above the basin. Firefighters and EMS personnel suited up with harnesses, tied to their lifelines, and they were lowered into the confined space. First aid began immediately. Carefully, slowly, they secured him to the rescue system and lifted him out of the basin. He survived, but it could have been fatal. It could have been a fatality. So why did this happen? Not because there wasn't a guardrail, not because there wasn't signage, not because they didn't know better. It happened because an opening was created. The protected system wasn't restored. Foam board looked solid. Assumptions replaced verification, and a routine replaced awareness. The supervisor likely thought he was stepping on the same protective surface that he had the day before, but he wasn't. Conditions had changed, and no one communicated it. So what's the real safety lesson here? This wasn't a lack of rules problem. This was a change management failure. Anytime you remove a guard, create an opening, modify a surface, or change site conditions, you have created a new hazard. You've introduced a new hazard at that point. And those hazards must be controlled immediately, because foam board is not fall protection. Signage doesn't stop gravity, and experience doesn't make you immune to what is going on around you. That morning, everything looked the same, but it wasn't. And that's how accidents happen. The young man survived. He never came back to work again due to his injuries. The effluent basin was eventually repaired once they got another supervisor on board. But the accident was still there. It changed his life forever. That one split second. I've talked about in the past about being sharp for safety. Safety is first. Hazards can be limited. Awareness is key. Responsibility is whose? Is mine. And participation is a must. So, hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell for notification. Thank you for coming back around to another Note of Safety Desk. Take care, and again, stay sharp for safety.